Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome to Stasis Bone Totem. This is the second game, as I understand it, in the Stasis universe, but I am led to believe that they're totally separate stories, that we do not need to have played the first one. I was interested in the first one and I just kind of never got around to it back when it came out. If we end up liking this, yeah, probably we'll get to that as well. But basically, I've just had kind of like a frustrating couple of days, and when I'm in a bad mood, some kind of fucked up body horror stuff is usually just the thing to turn me around. So that's where we're going here. Obviously, this game, content warning wise, is going to have body horror type stuff. I mean, you can already see some on the menu here. So, you know, if that's not your particular flavor, feel free to dip out and we'll catch up with you on something else. But right now, I could really use something real icky. So, without further ado, let's get in here and discover the ick factor. I don't even really know what kind of... I think it's like a point-and-click adventure kind of game. Not 100% sure what we're getting into here. It is so much darker when a light goes out than if it had never shone, says John Steinbeck. Probably. I've never actually read any Steinbeck.
Kilo 12 calling on VH channel 16. Over.
Nothing on the AIS.
Nothing.
Keep trying.
Repeat. Stationary vessel in position. 23 degrees, 10 decimal, 45 minutes south. 71 degrees, 18 decimal.
C-15! Shit! It's a Kane Corp rig!
Still no response. No comms, no power.
Maybe they bugged out! Just left instead of dismantling her proper!
Only one way to find out. You see a docking port up ahead. Hold on tight.
Here we go. Please let everything be all right. Please let everything be all right.
Okay, so it seems like we're concerned about Kane Corp. We don't like Kane Corp. And also the audio is pretty hot. I am going to adjust that in just a second here when we get control. So it's hard to imagine how anything spooky could be happening in this setting. Not a place that is, by its very nature, deeply terrifying at all. I have pretty bad thalassophobia, so...
Okay, we're tied off. Rain may be letting up too.
Ha! And the foxhounds are live and sniffing.
Foxhound mapping network connected.
We really think these mapping drones are worth it?
We have to map the whole thing. With the salvage reports, there's no way we do that without drones. And we're borrowing them, Mac, not buying them.
Borrowing has a price, too.
Look at it, Mac. If it's empty, this changes everything for us.
Not everything. Sorry. You're right. I'm gonna head into the rig.
Hey, let's sync the QSDs.
Quantum storage device of shared storage is now concurrent.
Here's active.
Yeah. I still can't find the spare device, though.
Oh, it's on Moses. I needed its battery.
Great. QSD on a toy bear. It'll be passing as seashells and barnacles.
He's more than a toy.
Okay, use an item by selecting it from inventory and clicking it on an interactive location on the puzzle screen. There is a separate puzzle pop-up screen, apparently. It can ping to highlight locations in the environment. Blue means interactive, green means description. Share an item by selecting and then clicking on a portrait. So we have a canonical way of passing information or passing objects between characters without having to actually put the characters together, which I appreciate very much. We have a PDA. It's going to store all our logs. Items in special inventory slots can be manipulated. Mac can break, bend, and crush items. Charlie can repair or combine. Okay, that's cool. It's a neat set of design things there. Let me just, like I said, real quick, hop in here, and we're just going to turn the audio down like maybe one click. We'll try one click. The vocal stuff we were hearing post-cinematic was not as loud as the cinematic, so okay, right click in the environment to get a good read. The bed, bathed in the glow shed by the fairy lights, the thick blankets promise warmth and security. Oh, there are cute little lightings here. This sophisticated robotic kid's toy casts a forlorn figure. The patchy fur betrays its age. However, this rare Mr. Kibbles model boasts a learning AI on par with modern alternatives. Okay, what can we do with this exactly?
We should really get rid of these. But yet. I didn't click, by the way. That's where the line ended. We have here a variety of sentimental knickknacks. The rough sea has shifted some of Hope's favorite books. So Hope is a child, probably? This is Mac and Charlie, right? Are the names of our characters, so... Pile of unopened letters stacked on the table. The words final notice and payment due emblazoned in the envelopes. How are we going to... It's just... never ending.
Blue Sky Medical. I don't know. This corporation might be familiar to people who are familiar with the setting. But I mean, it's pretty obvious some of what's going on here. A family photograph of Mac, Charlie, and Hope. A cherished memory has been frozen in time. The smiling faces look back from behind the glass.
Hope. I keep waiting. But... fool's errand. Never hurts any less.
I will say the face tack is not awesome necessarily. It's interesting that they give us like effectively alt text descriptions for the photographs, but also just let us see the photographs. Rainwater drips from the cribs. Where was that crib description coming from? It's really easy to like mouse over a lot of stuff, and oh, I see. There's stuff outside that I'm mousing over accidentally. All right, if I double click, he runs, which is nice. Okay, out here we have Hope's crib, just outside on the deck. Rainwater drips from the crib's bulging wood. The bassinet's pink paint has been worn away by the weather, and salt water has seeped through the little mattress. As a result, the impression left by a sleeping figure has almost vanished. Okay, so we have... yeah, we just have some like loose workbenches sitting around. Congealed and rusty scrap trawled from the ocean's depths. Unfortunately, much of this metal has been corroded by seawash and acid rain, rendering it useless. I don't know anything about like metal salvage as a career, or like what condition something would have to be in to be valuable as salvage. Salvager wouldn't be caught dead without a power cell recharge station.
Fuse housing is totally rusted. Gotta fix it at some point. You know, with all the free time that I've got.
Okay, so we have some duct tape. It is not for ducts. And we can wrench stuff open. An item must be in the inventory slot. So we can't just use his strength on like a piece of the puzzle. It has to be something we can pick up. Also, note, there are 3 spaces for characters here. Okay, yeah, all this sparking exposed wiring being exposed to the rain feels like a recipe for a bad time. Over here we have our retractable bridge. In addition to providing a convenient means to board and disembark, it also provides helpful when attempting to improvise access to salvage. Yeah, so we can go into the thing here, but I kind of want to explore the rest of our ship real quick. So when this says forward, is it just saying like this is the forward part of the ship? Or okay, I had, when we moused over this and it said forward above the mouse, I was assuming it was like a travel to another screen kind of thing, but it is not. The ship's helm is a chaotic jumble of old equipment, charts, and novels weathered by use. An entrenched aroma of caffeine emanates from a dashboard-mounted espresso machine. And there's no way for me to get, like, up on top of... Like, there's definitely stuff up here to see. Okay, we have some things secured under a tarp from the rain, at least a little bit. We're seeing the bookshelf that's inside the room, the description point, which is a little awkward. Alright, well, I guess let's step inside. The spotlights that illuminate the Deep Sea 15 logo are either off or non-functional. The loudest tell that the rig has been abandoned or discarded. Right, the lights would be on if there were still people here.
Okay, let's see.
Blue sky systems closely active. All systems nominal.
Radio check, video check, vitals check.
I hear you. You seeing what I'm seeing?
Mm-hmm. Plug suits live. Signal is good. This rig is massive.
It doesn't look scuttled either. There's way too much equipment left behind.
This is probably, like, in terms of the needing vitals and stuff, this is probably pretty dangerous work, even in a non-horror story context, because stuff's got to be dilapidated, and, like, I imagine things can go wrong in a big physics kind of way very quickly, this line of work. Puddles seem to have been pried from the, panels seem to have been pried from the flooring, though the reason for this is unclear. As a result, puddles of rainwater have pooled into the exposed architecture. Over here we have some containers. Seem to have been packed and placed in preparation for loading them onto a ship. However, the extensive weathering from the elements suggests that such a ship never came, and it has maybe been quite some time? Okay, we have a PDA over here. Let's go see if we can find ourselves an audio log. I guess these are non-audio logs. Looks like another... This is Kurt Dog Warren, the motorman. Looks like another lab is being set up on the Mule. Yesterday's cargo resupply had at least a dozen stasis pods. This morning I processed a sizable neural cortex vat suspended in jelly. Not gonna lie, it made me hungry. Huh. I forwarded the security protocols to Follis. Unfortunately, the asshole still has me by the balls, and he knows it. I thought it was just in my head, but the more I listened, the more convinced I became that it was real. I asked everyone around me... Did I miss something here? No. Huh. Okay. I asked everyone around me if they could hear it too, but they all just looked at me like I was crazy. I couldn't shake the feeling that the music was there, though. It was so faint and ethereal, like it was coming from another world. I've never had an experience like this before, and it's really unsettling. I wish someone else could have heard the music too, so I wouldn't feel so alone in this. Okay, so we can use these buttons to tab through the logs, or we can just click. There are a lot of things in this PDA. Okay, report. Investigate and order treatments for cybernetic degradation due to the salt air. Order a maglift coupler bracket. Investigate required spares for gas turbines. There's a lot of stuff that seems very just run-of-the-mill work stuff. Message to Babs Darren pending delivery. So I wonder if pending delivery in this case means that like the message never made it up to the server, or if the message made it to Babs's device but it was never opened. I fear that I may not express myself correctly if I try to tell you how much you mean to me. I am working on digging us out of the debt hole that I unwittingly put us in. And I can only imagine the shock and disappointment you felt when you found out. I was sure the investment was good, but I recognize now that I have a lot to learn. I fully expect to repay the company and get you out of the debt holding facility in 5 years. Oh. I have a surefire way of making a ton of cash. I need to pay off a few game debts, and then I can get my system running again. You'll always be right here in my heart, no matter where I am. Love, Kurt. Okay, this is fucking grim. This this already has my cortisol moving in a way that no monster or body horror stuff we encounter is going to. The pill pushers told me to start keeping a dream journal, so here it is, the same dream I have every night. I'm in a magnificent chapel. Large red and black stained glass windows with emblazoned images of Jesus and Mary are staring back at me. 1,000 voices hum in the background. I look down and have no arms, legs, or torso. My head is part of a seething mass of goop. I scream, and the entire mass vibrates, and I start humming the same tune. My lips are forced to move against my will. A human figure enters from the vestibule and tears my tongue from my mouth. I am forced to look at the figure. It speaks. I do not understand its speech. Father Melvin would be proud that 3 years of religious education have finally borne fruit. Note to self. Yucca paste, 4 crates. Don't confuse berry for strawberry again. 25 bio days, suit gel packs. Okay, this stuff doesn't look necessarily narratively critical. Order tube, cable, and piping spares for the mule, including replacing a mile of melted 10-inch steel core cable. What the hell could fry this line in the freezing Pacific? That is interesting. I like the idea of there being a bunch of, like, ho-hum details of the job and personal stuff, and anything that's directly relevant to us is just mixed in, both for the verisimilitude and also because that, I think, makes it a lot more interesting to realize what is important rather than just always having the game set out only the things that matter for you, or having them like marked with a great big, great big obvious screen marker or something. Message to the captain, Captain Haskeen. Captain, are there any issues with DS-15 outgoing mail? I've been trying to get a hold of my mother for the last month, and every message I've sent is still marked as pending delivery. I've combed my settings a dozen times. I'm hesitant to push too hard since Kane takes care of my mother as part of my contract, but she's the only reason I put up with this literally shit work and criminal pay. I've spent the last 2 mornings unclogging sewage and scraping more of Kay's sordid experiments out of sorted containers. I think I deserve the right to check up on her. Can you help me out, Cap? For old time's sake? So that personal message from earlier to Babs Darren, I had kind of assumed it was, I don't know, this is his mother, we must now assume. I don't know, I'd kind of assumed it was like a spouse or something. I don't know why that made sense to me. Personal log. Bell maintenance keeps tripping the electrics up here, which is a pain in my ass. Kurt, do this. Kurt, do that. Kirk, fix this. So I'm going to bypass Station 1 and Substation 4, nuke them both from the system. Of course, that could result in a catastrophic fire, but that would be someone else's problem. No juice for the entire platform means a vacation for Kurt Dog. He calls himself Kurt Dog. The dreams have stopped, but the chorus has gotten louder. I can now make out some of the words. Apple trees and pear trees are in blossom. Mists above the winding river float. A corrupted log. Quarantine order. Alright. So there might have been a quarantine on the rig. Follis's drone races are on hiatus, which is bitter news. Worse yet, the quarantine went into effect before the last results and payouts were distributed, so I'm left twiddling my thumbs waiting for this whole thing to blow over. I can feel in my gut that I won something, or maybe even won big, and I can't help wondering if the greedy bugger isn't using the quarantine as a cover to cut me out. So yeah, he believes he had developed some kind of unbeatable system for betting on the drone races. This is very sad. A grim image is painted for us of Kurt Darren. 65 log entries were erased remotely. That's interesting. Cap's wife came up from the mule in a body bag. Please keep me safe in your care, Kane. Help me to feel your presence and know that I am never alone. Protect me from all harm and guide me on my path. May your love and grace surround me always. So Kane is the company, but there's definitely like I wonder if this is him losing his mind to some extent, or if the relationship that employees have with the Kane Corporation borders on like techno-religious cult, maybe? Interesting. A thick layer of grime is collected within the deeper recesses here in the facade, while paint has peeled away from a lot of the piping. It's hard to tell if this is also a result of the installation being abandoned, or simply negligence when it was still manned. Or honestly, could be a bit of both. Curtain of dark runnels coats the wall below, betraying the presence of leaks within the piping. Bad news. Darkness swallows the other side of the landing as the sound of groaning steel structures echoes in the wind. Yeah, I sure do love that all of the lighting is out. Stacked cargo appears to contain disk drives, but water's found its way in, of course, so... I don't know if y'all know anything about how computer components work when they're wet.
Long way down.
17.5 meters.
I could make it across that beam.
Nuh-uh, no way. It's too dangerous. I'll find another way across.
She is bananas, fully out of her mind, if she thinks that's a good idea in the rain. This cargo seems to hold the personal effects of some of the crew who worked here, awkwardly handled and imperfectly sealed. Seems they were packed in haste, and it's certainly very interesting that their personal effects were packed and brought out to the place where you would offload them. Suggests that whatever happened here, they intended to leave, but then either they had to leave so quickly they couldn't take this stuff, or they did not in fact leave, which is sort of what I'm assuming. Sitting idle and unpowered, a Luna satellite dish idles, rust slowly claiming its surface. The amount of cargo left strewn about suggests that the dish's demise may have come earlier. Alright. Let's see about getting inside proper here. Got a couple of interact points. So I'm assuming I could just continue to walk up. This is the screen transition symbol. The storm shutter's been lowered. Fortunately, it could be opened with a light tug on the driving chain, in theory. Let's see.
Found the power generator. It's not spinning.
Explains why we didn't pick up any radio chatter. Think we can get it running?
Well, it's locked up, but yeah, looks intact.
Hold on, I'm coming up.
It's bothering me more than it maybe should that neither one of them has their hood up.
I forget how frighteningly beautiful the ocean is at night.
Frightening's right. Especially during a storm.
Though there be fury on the waves, beneath them, there is none.
Says who?
Times like this, wish I had something to pray to. Please, let this all be okay. Let it be okay.
I really like like desperate financial straits and a big salvage as a motivation in a horror story for characters to go into a situation that seems off or seems dangerous. Because, man, I can tell you, when you are like right on the edge of losing everything, it's a powerful motivation. You can talk yourself into a lot of things.
What is this place?
Who cares? Let's figure out if it's empty, claim the title, and get out of here.
Well, this one may warrant some overtime.
I mean, this is, in theory, at the very least, a lot of workable metal and stuff, right?
Well, that looks heavy.
Yeah, no way I'm getting that open by myself.
Alright, I guess we gotta move on. I don't know that it matters terribly who we're playing as. It kind of seems like they want us to play as her. For the moment, this is why they brought her up, right? Oh, what is this? Metastasized corrosion is eating away at this deep C15 signage. Steel walls here seem to have been built doubly thick. While common in construction encasing and containing high-pressure environments, it strikes you as somewhat unusual to find such a sturdy wall housing rig facilities. Yeah, you wouldn't think there would be any benefit. So the drone has marked this as something of importance, but I don't have the ability to interact with it directly. We have a junction box here, shielded by the enclosure. Ooh, okay. It seems like it's, yeah, shooting off sparks and broken. Regulates and integrates the operation of the door mechanism, but a fuse has blown out, so we're going to need a replacement. And, yeah. She is perfect for this if we can just find a damn fuse somewhere. More hastily packed luggage. This informative poster features basic information on the power distribution layout for the DS15. The code AAFGJJAA is legible. Huh. And the JJ is circled. And there's a QR code, which may or may not be legitimate. A pair of freshwater tanks store water for use by the crew. You're not quite sure how fresh the water is, though, considering how long it may have been standing here. Yeah, I'm gonna need a fuse from somewhere. Massive fan blades dissipate heat from the electropump power generator in the room below. Out here, looking out over the ocean, this vantage provides a beautiful view of the oceanic expanse, though the highly questionable absence of a railing against a sudden drop results in a vague sense of acrophobia. This, touching on another one of my great fears, my sense of acrophobia is not vague. Well, shoot, we're gonna have to find a fuse. Alright, let's see about this.
Can do this.
Charlie, I mean it. We can't afford this right now.
What does that mean?
It means when risks catch up with you, they catch up with me too.
And they're expensive. That said, obviously we're going to do it.
Charlie, goddammit.
I made it, Mac. It's fine.
It was fine this time.
I know my limits.
That's not the point. The point is if you get hurt with our debt, we lose the boat too. Haven't we lost enough?
That's why we're here.
This woman.
Something large and heavy forced these balustrades to near collapse. Whether it fell into the ocean below or was cleared by hand, no trace of the culprit remains. Yeah, that seems like it would be a lot of force. Or just weight. I mean, weight generates force. This section of the ocean ring has suffered from the violent gravity of collapsing architecture, tearing away walkways and supports as they fell from above. I wonder how long this thing has been out here in this state. A cumbrous aluminum enclosure stuffed with a chaotic assortment of exotic apparatus and equipment. Here we have more double-layered steel. The cost must have been staggering. Why exactly was this needed? The walkway leading to the crew facilities has become a twisted mass of steel and cables. So, of course, let's just kind of wander around in this area. I'm sure it will be safe.
A lot of damage here. Storm must have done this.
Please be careful.
This isn't my first rodeo, Mac.
Prolonged exposure to the elements has essentially entrapped the crane within a thick coating of rust. Okay, that thing's not going to be operable ever.
Looks like this is the only way in. It's rusted shut.
On the outside of the window, oxidation has accumulated over time. We have some warped handrails here. Well, let me have a look at this. Can I just smash? Is smashing up? No, smashing is not a possibility here. And yeah, this is well and truly... What is this bit? Ah, okay, I had to pull it off. When we right-click, we get a, like an indicator of where the interaction things are. This heavy-duty rod looks as if it was part of a crane and was hastily jammed into the window hinge to keep it very securely shut, even before it was rusted shut. Huh. Well... Is there anything else around here we can interact with? Doesn't look like it. At this height, the wind begins to tug and pull at exposed architecture. The beginnings of a howl starting to form as air gushes through the skeletal remains of the walkway. Okay, this is our general interface button. So, I'm assuming I can't just jam these two things together. And this isn't a fuse. But, you know, it is a big piece of metal. No. Okay. It's like, that shouldn't work. But let's test the game's, let's test how the game thinks of these puzzles. I was hoping we would encounter a fuse somewhere. And then we would use the... Oh, I guess maybe I could just smash the glass, huh? This that once held the window shut. Let's try it at least. Huh. It's weird that there's this little, like... what is that on the bottom left of the thing? Is it a gear or... It's this weird little icon. I have heavy metal stuff. I would love it if I could just use something to smash through the glass. No such luck. And we're not going to be able to get Mac over here. So there's nothing Mac could do about any of it. Well, I guess let's just... We're not going to be able to head back. I could send stuff over to Mac, or I could claim from Mac some tape to help fix a leak or something. We're gonna need another fuse here, I would assume. I don't know what to make of this. Let me switch back to Mac here and make sure that we've got all of the objects from this side of the area. I wonder if maybe I missed something. If there is a place where, in fact, we are supposed to be able to pick up a little bit of scrap that we can use. Let me check up top.
Something's not right. All this equipment, why would they leave it?
You've heard of gift horses, I presume.
Yeah. And Trojan horses.
I like our little mapping drone. Again, like it's sort of a diegetic explanation for why we get these helpful these helpful features that tell us where things are and everything. All right, do we have some spare fuses sitting around on the ship or something, maybe? Doesn't seem impossible, right? But I feel like I interacted with everything that was marked interactable on the ship. We definitely don't... Yeah, we don't have anything useful in the cell recharge station. And also, it doesn't even work. Oh, I didn't actually interact with the super toy. Silly me. A learning AI. Interesting. If we put some power in there of some kind, I guess. Maybe it could do a little something for us. Hard to know what, though. Am I missing something really obvious already? This is no longer interactable. I can't just jam myself under the door. See, I figured what we were going to do here is...
Door won't budge.
Yeah. Rig this size, those bulkheads are magnetically sealed.
What I figured what we were going to do is have her find the stuff, fix it, and then we were going to use our magic teleporting inventory to give it to him so he could use it to plug into the junction box, and then we could try to reunite them later. But I am wondering, where is the critical bit that I am missing, or the single interaction that I am missing? What about if I just use this to break stuff? Nope, I cannot apply this to the window in any way. I'm unsure if that little point that is not quite part of the art of this thing is like this is the interact point or what. Okay, that's just a button for the thing I'm already doing. And I can't interact with the window hinge. I can't, like, attempt to take the hinge apart. Well, in that case, there seems to be nothing else to interact with. I'm feeling very silly. Let's, that's not what I really meant to do. What I meant to do was just take this. Out of curiosity, does the game believe you can just tape this together? No. Okay, good. Because that wouldn't make any sense. I would assume that it is for fixing a leak, right? Given the descriptive text. But at this point, it makes no sense not to just try everything we have available to us. Hey, you. Can you bash this into a more useful shape or something? Indeed. Now it's a decent weapon that may come in handy. Okay, and with the rod straightened, can I use it to open the window? You know, with a little bit of percussive maintenance. Aw, I really thought that was going to work. I guess if, like, just a person with any piece of metal could break this, it wouldn't be very good at its job. It's got to be more intense than that. My husband has apparently made it less pretzel-like. I think it was prettier when it twisted up. It's actually really interesting that the description of the item in your inventory is from the character's perspective, and so you have you get different descriptions in the different inventories. That's really cool. And I can't break this off with it, and I can't break any of this with it, so I don't know what the value of it would be. If we send it back over to Mac... I could just try... Well, no, I couldn't. I was going to say I could just try using some physics to, like, force this open. But I don't think I can, because we can no longer interact with it. Yeah, and you can only use items on the world inside of a puzzle screen. You can't just... Alright, so we have our PDA, which is keeping logs of everything. There are 20 collectibles. Apparently we have found none of them. The cell charger on the boat is not going to be useful. Oh, wait, hold on. Is there more? No, there's not really more explorable area up here. I was wondering if maybe I had missed a map change. Oh. Huh. I found a collectible VHS in a place where I just, like, absolutely could not see. Well, what the hell does that do? Shadow Stalker. I mean, it looks like the kind of thing I would watch. I mean, this thing needs power, not violence. I'm certainly not going to be able to do anything like that. I do not know what to make of this, but it feels to me like this is maybe for later. So yeah, we have precisely one interactable that we don't know. I guess technically two. There's the battery cell thing. So this has to get peeled back. Oh, there's a fuse in there, but you have to peel. I hadn't right clicked here, so I didn't realize you could peel that back. Okay, well, now I feel silly. So we give you the fuse. We connect this. I'm not reading that text out loud. She's not being rewarded for that.
These fuse boxes are tricky, but the control unit should work now.
All right, so now we can swap that back over to Mac. Okay, apologies, friends. All right, I really need to use the ping system and not just rely on obvious visual cues, because they have built the game in such a way that there aren't always obvious visual cues because the ping system exists. So now we know. Okay, that has at least pulled up the door. An old but secure graphene magnetic lock secures the sliding gate.
Need something to pry this lock.
Oh, you mean like something straight and metallic? Too bad someone lost our crowbar, isn't it?
Hey, that seagull was eating my sandwich.
Okay, just click it right there. There we go. That'll solve the problem.
Now let's get that power back on.
I would really appreciate that.
It does seem like it would be a pretty good idea. I'm a little back and forth on how I feel about this system where, like, the game just tells you where all the interaction points are. Because on the one hand, it is really nice for allowing the environments to really look like allowing them to go for an immersion and tone first design without having to necessarily design the environments in order to draw your attention to the things that you need to be able to interact with. But on the other hand, it does feel a little paint by numbers from my end. I don't know. Energy is distributed throughout the rig by, you know, the generator. That's what a generator is for. The beating heart of the massive rig sits in silence. Well, let's see if we can't do something about that. To activate these old rig turbines, a gas catalyst is used. This old mechanism powers the entire platform, which is rather remarkable. Okay.
Out of fuel, looks like.
Well, that's no good. Also, yeah, there's like kind of a lot of damage to this whole thing. Aha. Found some rust away. That's convenient. And that's not going to do anything until we fix all of this. These babies can run for a week without needing a refill. I assume this injects fuel into the gas turbine and starts the power generation process. All right, well, let's pass this back over to her.
Rust in peace.
Good work there.
Thanks. Heading inside.
She has a lot of bad wordplay saved up, apparently. Alright, let's just pop this open. And then crawl into the big dark hole, which is obviously a good idea and a smart thing to do.
Oh, whoa. It's dark. Power's off here.
Crates are stacked in a way that clearly suggests they were intended as a barricade. The other side of the barrier. It strikes you that you're not sure which side of the barricade was meant to be cut off. Yeah, either they were trying to keep something out or they were trying to keep it away from their escape route? Something or someone, right? It could have been defense against... Okay. Scared myself a little bit. It's just chains swinging in the dark. But this is concerning.
Warning. Elevated heart rate detected.
Oh my god.
Charlie. What is that?
It's a body.
Okay, that's it. Get back to the boat.
No, Mac. It's okay.
It's okay? It's a body. A really messed up one, too. We're out of here. Authorities can deal with this.
It's not like we haven't seen bodies before. Remember the Starfall?
That was different. It was a contract. We knew there was going to be...
And now we know the same thing here.
Charlie.
We can do this.
We don't have any idea what's going on here. Whatever killed him could kill us too.
Exactly. We don't know. We don't know if it's dangerous or if it isn't. So, we stay until we find out.
Charlie.
Just a little further, Mac. We need this. We need it. You know I'm right.
A little further. The next time I call it. It's called.
Our man here is very overbearing. The final meal of a sacrificed man has spilled on the ground. In the dim light, the slaughter-soaked concrete glistens. There's an awful lot of just like red stuff in the air. A wispy web of meat stretches lazily upwards. Whatever craft or device holding them aloft, hidden in the darkness above. The strands dance and oscillate in time with the dust particles brought to life by the drafty air. Beads of blood hanging from the tendrils, each reflecting a dot of light, a profane decoration upon necrotic wings. Yeah, okay, so that's not like a supernatural way for a person to die. I mean, it's a supernatural. You know what I mean. It's not extremely natural. It is definitely supernatural. I like her like shielding her eyes in this area. That's very cute detail. Alright, well, let's have a look at this PDA. Stephen Cameron, technician. I've been assigned to assist Dr. Elspeth should she require anything to be lifted or transported. Apparently her bones are messed up, soft as chalk. It feels like I'm on Vulcan Death Watch again. Did I mention she smells like zinc and brimstone? That's curious. 37 log entries erased remotely. Message to Captain Heskine. Sir, we've lost comms with the mule. Impossible to say for sure, but all the connections going dead simultaneously doesn't seem like a mechanical error. I hear our occupying force is communicating below just fine. I guarantee they've noticed the mule's comms are down, and they don't seem bothered. Captain, my take? They cut the comms to control the flow of information from the mule. They don't want anyone accidentally learning about what's happening down there. If I'm right, they're doing cleanup rather than containment, and we need to make sure we don't start looking like we need a wash. Okay, so something happened here. A cleanup / control team was sent from headquarters or whatever. And whatever it is that happened here got out of control. Or containment. Or something. Cap told me that most systems have been shut down remotely. Any attempt to bring them up brings an error saying Deep Sea 15 no longer exists, as it's now listed as lost. I did stuff like this during my time with Blue Haven in the 70s. We called it a goatfuck operation. Evacuate what personnel and data we can, then burn the place to the ground. The standard procedure was to set the site to self-destruct. This buys time to generate plausible deniability and shape an internal narrative. I'm texting all channels. Is anyone there? The last thing I remember was helping move cargo, captain's orders. Then something heavy hit me on the head, knocking me out. Dr. Elspeth was the only one in the room with me. I woke up covered in blood, not a living soul around. What the hell happened here? A ton of debris washed up on the landing. Life jackets and equipment from the Sebastian. I won't tell the captain. He is not coping well. Oh, sweet mother. The bell came back and something climbed out. I heard screams. They didn't sound human. Okay, another message to Captain Heskine. And theoretically, this is like quite a while after the last one, right? Cap, I got the sentry gun up and running, and by some miracle, I also got the DNA sniffer working. So, if we can get a sample from that skin job, we can target it specifically. I've seen these rounds perforate tank plating out in the field, so anything that gets so much as grazed will be reduced to chunky mince. The battery was fried, so I spliced its cabling into our power grid. It should stay operational while we have power and it has ammo. Yeah, some bad news about that. But we're getting some good information here about how we might survive where they did not. Also, uploads to Luna finished while I was working, so they got whatever data they wanted. Soon after, the system's started doing a local scrub of our servers. Always a bad sign. It took a while, but I managed to catch that it was scrubbing every mention of this operation from our systems. I have a feeling that our time is up. Tick-tock. That's all I hear. Oh, goatfuck operations always end in a large explosion. No explosion, then. Sid didn't make it. I heard him scream, and then he was gone. Final message to Captain Heskine. Cap, you were sleeping when I left. I'm heading out now to deal with the old generator. Gas needs a refill. And I should be done before anything goes to hell. Lock the door just in case. Please, Cap. I need to head out to grab some supplies and start jury-rigging that long-range radio, so this works out for our benefit. This sounds sentimental and somewhat ridiculous given the circumstances, but I'll grab some flowers from cold storage. I know Yvette loved yellow daisies, and we would feel better if we sent her off respectfully. Chin up. See you soon, Cap. So it seems like this message must be from pretty late in the overall disaster timeline. I wonder if this is going to be one of the last sets of messages that we see. Alright, so somewhere there's a sentry gun with a DNA sniffer and a busted battery, but it is hooked up to the power systems in general. So once we get the power on, we could theoretically use it. Imposing equipment looms over the back of the room, likely a dormant filter or processor for specific liquids. It also seems to have been used as an impromptu location to store scrap. Alright, just kind of don't pay attention to all the gore. What is this? Okay. Interesting is what it is. So JJ... Yeah, we're going to have to combine this information with the other substation notice, I'm sure. Can I, Are we logging images? No, we're paying attention to our conversations and the log entries that we find. But okay, that being the case, I am going to take some Steam screenshots then. We'll just grab a screenshot of that, and let me pop back over to Mac before I forget. Pop back outside and grab that other one. Okay. Don't know for sure that this stuff's gonna matter, but seems like the safe thing to do. I'm technically allowed to interact with the flayed man. I mean, I guess we better.
This looks
Like what?
like it's staged, like a ritual.
Is that supposed to make me feel better?
What do you have? Ugh. There's something about like the animations and these screens that really makes me think of much older horror games, in a way that's really working for me. I'm enjoying this very much. What is this? I don't know, I can't just click on it here. Might be metal. Hey, pass me that magnet, would you? No. I can't use the magnet to pull it off of there. Let's try... Can I pry it? No, and I can't even make sense of what it is, so it's hard for me to know, like... We just have a weird blue object here. I can't even, like, zoom in and out on it. Well, I doubt any of the rest of this stuff is gonna help, so... For the moment, I guess let's just keep moving until we can figure out... Hearing a lot of noises, and I'm not happy with any of it. Let's keep moving until we can figure out what that is. Variegated hanging chains clink quietly in the soft currents of the draft. Really providing a nice alien vibe. Okay, out of order.
Damn. Without power, this elevator's not going anywhere.
Working on it.
Work faster.
It's unclear what purpose this piece of equipment serves. The best guess is that it analyzes whatever's dropped into the receiver, but it's impossible to know without power. And we have a tarp here covering something, covering the steel framework piercing through the center of the room, though not much headway was made before the attempt was abandoned. Huh.
Look at this. Fuel cylinder resupply station.
Functional.
Looks it.
That'll come in handy.
Really, even without power. You may mix and dispense a variety of fuel mixtures into the canisters. It's critical to get the right mix of chemicals. Of course it is. Oh, and we found our way around to the other side of the barricade. Okay, well, let's have a look at this. First of all, free screwdriver. Mac threw my previous screwdriver at a dolphin. Yeah, I'm detecting a pattern. Alright, what is this? I guess this is where we would put the tank? Indeed. Okay. Where is this drawing power from? Oh. Well... I definitely put some fuel in there. I don't know what the hell that... Hold on. Can I... I'm just gonna pass this over, I guess, and we'll see what happens. I'm a little nervous that this might not be the right fuel mixture, but I don't know what else to do. So now we know from having found that VHS that the collectibles are not really going to be visible necessarily, just going to be kind of like off in the corner of the world. I don't love that design necessarily. I was going to connect the...
Mac, where are you? Where are you?
Did I bad end? Yes, I bad ended. Okay. Achievements. I found a death. So we gotta fix this hose first. Oh, you know what? She has that tape. I'll just tape the hose. That's fine. Well, I appreciate the game telling me that there are ways to die in that, like, nice and early on in a sort of a low stakes way in terms of our actual human time. This doesn't work? What does she have to say about the hose? Not enough.
And...
Okay.
voila! Airtight.
There you go again, using fancy words, making yourself look smarter than me.
Honey, I don't need fancy words for that.
Also, if you consider airtight to be a fancy word, you're sort of telling on yourself there, pal. Alright, let's try this again. Hose goes in first, then cylinder.
I get the feeling the solution on this one has to be more than one piece.
Yeah.
Might need to look around for the answers.
Yeah, there's something ain't right here. Alright, well, hold on. I'm going to pass the fuel canister back over to her. Like, I have no idea what I put in here. Okay, so I can interact with the screen first. Can I get my canister back, please? No, okay, I'm gonna have to... Does this thing have... No, there's no examine. Let's look at this side. Oh, interesting. Okay, so these markers, it is a 3x4 grid on that computer, right? Why is that one red? So 1, 4, 7, 9, 11. 9 is red. 1, 4, 7, 9, 11. 1, 4, 7, 9, 11. So, sorry, I can keep these on. 1, 4, 7, 9, 11. This one's red, and I don't know how to make that happen. These only seem to have 2 states. I guess we'll try it this way? Maybe earning myself another death here, potentially. Alright, all yours. Well, it didn't freak out when I put it in. Switch distribution control, input correct substation sequence. Okay, so it's definitely... this is a JJ, this is AA, that's AA. And she's already forgotten the other one, but the good news is I took a picture. FG. How do I... The JJ here is circled? I don't know what to make of that. Input correct substation sequence. All right, let me look at this other image. Because this other image, so we have those four set up. This other image has, it has markings on it though, right? Let me pop back over to her so that I can put it back on screen for all of you. So it's not just me looking at it. Okay, so that's crossed out. That's also, it looks like drawn through. I mean, it looks like they're kind of all drawn through, except for F, G, and J, J. But the thing's gonna need 4 inputs, right? The JJ is circled.
That diagram I saw back on the turbine. That might help me get this up and running.
Yeah, but not in the simplest way. Okay, there are no clickable controls anywhere except for the obvious things. Okay, yeah, we did just have to.
Let there be light.
Good work. Problem though.
What?
Can't access the rig schematics. There's a security lockdown. Stand by.
Mapping vector updated.
Okay, I'm in. There's a control room through that sealed door on the upper deck. If we're gonna override the lockdown, that's where we do it.
Got it, I'll check it out.
Okay, I feel like we're making some progress here. We're doing some work. Let's just have a peek at this before we maybe. Oh, it's just open now.
So, yeah. There's no chance I'm squeezing through this.
What about Moses?
You're kidding.
He's helped sort scrap before. Already has a comm rig and a QSD. We can trade items with him just like we do with each other.
Okay.
I don't like talking to him. Every time he asks about...
He was with her when it happened.
It happened because of him.
That's not fair.
I'm just saying what it is. She jumped in after him.
It's still not fair.
Fine, I'll get the damn bear.
Here, take his key. And be nice.
Oh, that's pretty grim. That's pretty rough. Now we know what happened, at least. All right, I'll tell you what. I am gonna stop it right here. I think that is where we're gonna call it for today. My intention here with this series is for there to be episodes about an hour in length, roughly 5 of those a week, until we have managed to solve the mysteries of this place and also escape it, and maybe also poverty, the truest horror. So come back next time, sometime soon, for more Stasis Bone Totem, and we'll see you then.